Today on American Game Day, I got your Week 6 recaps. We got Alabama versus Tennessee today, and some playoff impact games. American Game Day starts right now! Welcome to American Game Day. Yep, it's Saturday, October 15th. I'm Braden Slater, CEO and host of this show. Alright, so let's get things started off. We got a great Saturday for you all. We got probably the biggest game of the season, Alabama and Tennessee. This is going to be a fun game to watch. Can't wait to see that after what happened to Alabama and A&M, number one recruiting class last week. Alabama, once again, got a top game this week, and we got some other playoff impact games I want to talk about. But first, let's start with some game highlights. We got Washington State and USC, our game of the week last week. Alright, let's talk about my rankings. Has anything changed after a crazy week from last week? Well, I still got Ohio State, of course, still at 1. I still think they are still the number 1 team, despite AP poll keeps switching up the 3 team over and over again. But anyway, my top 6 mostly stays the same, except for I replace Utah with Oregon this week. But AP poll still doesn't agree with me. They got Georgia back at number 1. They finally moved Ohio State up at number 2. They got Alabama at 3. Now, they got Tennessee climbing up there slowly, but they're getting up there. And they got Clemson at 4. I'm fine with that. And at least we agree on Michigan. I'll say that. But I think likely we'll see how Michigan does to Penn State today. So that'll be interesting to see how Michigan will shape up. Alright, we got some headlines for you. I got Alabama quarterback Bryce Young. He will be ready to play today against Tennessee, which is big news. Because if he wasn't, then I would have had Tennessee winning today. No doubt about that. But yep, Bryce Young will be playing today, and I can't wait to see how that game turns out. That's going to be quite a quarterback battle between those two teams. Alright, next headline is, what's happening to the Sooners? Well, I recorded a Slater Report podcast on it on Thursday if you want to take a listen to it. It's really interesting of what's going on down there. Is it Lincoln Riley's fault? Is it Brent Venables' fault? Is it just the coaching staff, or is it just a lack of talent? I don't know. Take a listen to my Slater Report podcast to know what's going on with the Sooners. And another injury update, we got the Kansas Jayhawks. Their quarterback went out last week, but their backup looked really impressive. And they're going to have to stick with him because Jalen Daniels is still out with a shoulder injury and will not be playing against Oklahoma this afternoon. Alright, let's jump to the game of the week. You know it, you saw it. I think it was hyped up all season long for it. Since Tennessee has been looking undefeated, looking better and better every week, I think this has been the most hyped game of the season. Alabama, Tennessee, 2:30 on CBS. This is going to be a wild game, and I can't wait to see. It's going to come down to the wire, just like Alabama and A&M. It's going to come down to the last play to see who's going to win that game, and it's going to be close. I think it's going to be very similar like that. Tennessee is going to show up. They're going to be ready. We're going to see if they can pull off Alabama. It'll be interesting. They are at home, so Alabama will have to deal with some crowd noise and on the road. And Alabama really hasn't been the Alabama on the road this year. They've been when they were home against number 1 recruiting class, they didn't look that too impressive. But they didn't have their Heisman Trophy winner, so I'll give them credit for that. But I will say that on the road, Alabama has been struggling this year, and they barely beat Texas on the road. So I think it's going to be a similar game like that, and I think that there will be times where Alabama is trailing in the fourth quarter. I'll have my predictions later in the show, but that's just a hint who I got. All right, let's jump to the ACC. We got a ranked game now. Yeah, Cincinnati is ranked. NC State is still ranked. This is going to be a fun battle to watch at 2:30 on the ACC network. Yeah, their network getting a ranked versus ranked game. Who knew? But anyway, this is going to be a fun game to watch. I will likely be watching Alabama-Tennessee game, though. But, I mean, I will be trying to watch multiple games at once. And I will likely try and watch this if it gets close to the end. But, I think NC State's got the edge in this one. I think Syracuse has got to play some defense, all right? They have been in the past. They got to continue their defense because NC State's got that great offense down there. They want to stay within them. Also, some big games to look forward to. We got Clemson and Florida State. How can Florida State bounce back after having, I think they have 2 back-to-back losses. So if they take down this top Clemson team, they can find themselves back in the rankings. Also, North Carolina, Duke, basketball. Nope, this is not a basketball game. This is football, and they are good. Both these two teams are good right now, and I think the winner of this game will likely be ranked. So it'll be interesting to see how this game goes down. And I'll be watching this game very closely. So it'll be interesting to see how this game goes down. All right, the Big 12 we go. This is really the big game in the conference. We got number 8, Oklahoma State, number 13, TCU. This is definitely one of the games I'm most excited to watch. We've got both these two teams have the best offense in the conference, along with Texas. But TCU, I think it's got a lot more talented defense than Oklahoma State. But OSU did have one of the top defense in the nation, but they lost their defensive coordinator and some top players to the NFL, and some that graduated. So it'll be interesting to see. OSU really hasn't had the quite defense lately. It'll be interesting to see how that game goes down. Anyway, so another big game to notice. We got the Jayhawks and the Sooners just getting ready to kick off on ESPN2. This is going to be a fun matchup to watch. I cannot wait to see this one because Oklahoma is home now. It's homecoming, and it'll be interesting to see how they get run. I did hear that Dylan Gabriel is going to play, and, well, I mean, I know that Kansas backup's going to be in, so it'll be interesting to see how the Sooners can respond. I'm really looking forward to, I know the offense could show up. I need to see some defense. All right, Penn State, Michigan, we go. This is a huge Big Ten game. All right, it's a true road game for Penn State. And this is a good test for Michigan. It'll tell us, is Michigan legitimately a playoff team? If Michigan can win this game and have a complete game, I'll put them back in my top 4. The AP poll will probably put them back in their top 4. And it all comes down to this game. If Michigan beats Penn State and finishes their season without an L, they're in the playoffs. I'll tell you that. If Penn State finds a way to win this game, Michigan's playoff hopes out the window. All right? Doesn't care how they beat Ohio State. Next game, Minnesota, Illinois. This is a huge game. Illinois is ranked for the first time in, I can't remember, like 10 years. All right? They're finally ranked. Minnesota, they're right on the edge. I think they were ranked last week. I still have them ranked in my rankings. So this is a really back and forth battle. Winner of this game will be ranked and stay ranked. All right? So, yeah, this is an important game in the matchup because it's got ranked all over it. All right, and that's another big Big Ten game. We got Wisconsin and Michigan State. These are two big Power 5 schools in the Big Ten, but yet they're having a down year. They were ranked to start the year. Now they're not. Nebraska has high hope. They still have a treat now. Nebraska because the West is falling apart, Nebraska has a chance to win the West, the Big Ten. Purdue looking to pull off another upset after their win last week, so it'll be interesting to see. The Big Ten is in question right now. The West and the Big Ten, even the whole Big Ten, is wide open, just like the Big 12. Pac-12, this is a huge game right here. Number 7 USC, number 20 Utah. Utah is now home now, and they're coming off their loss to UCLA, so it'll be interesting to see how they can answer and respond with their second loss this season. USC, undefeated. They've had some pretty tight games, but they managed to take over in the fourth quarter all season long. It's hard to do that to Utah, so if USC if Utah can get a lead and keep it, they will find a way to win that game. Also, Washington State, Oregon State, lower end of the Pac-12, but these two teams are teams to watch in Pac-12 because these are upset teams. They're the ones that can potentially knock off top teams like USC, Oregon, Utah, UCLA in the Pac-12. SEC we go. Mississippi State, Kentucky. Woo! Mississippi State is on a roll right now. They look impressive. They look one of the best teams in the SEC right now. Kentucky looked like that earlier in the season, but yet they've had 2 straight losses. This is Kentucky's chance to bounce back because they are home this week. Alright, we got a couple SEC teams on the road this week. We got Arkansas playing against BYU. LSU played against Florida. Both these two teams had high hopes for the season, ranked at one point, and now they're at the bottom of their conference. They're looking to bounce back. Same as Florida and BYU. These four teams were ranked at one point, and they've fallen at the bottom of the conference. I know one of them's independent, but they're at the bottom right now. So this game will likely climb them back up and potentially put them back in the list of should they be ranked or really bounce back and try to get to a decent bowl game. Alright, I got some NFL headlines for you. The Panthers fired their head coach, Rudolph, with a 1-4 start of the season. He's 11-27 overall. Wow, this is big news considering he had some huge success in college ball at Temple and Baylor. Baylor is the big one. And guess what? Baylor, I think, won the Big 12 the next year after he left, too. But that wasn't last year, yeah. How long he been at the Panthers? I think 4 years. So, yeah, could never get things going, despite being a good successful coach in college. Now the question is he going to go back to college ball? I think so. But the question is where? Well, we got Arizona State, Colorado, Nebraska, and Wisconsin. All open spots right now. Alright, so Dallas we go. Dak Prescott is practicing. He's back at practice with his thumb injury. But Cooper Rush you expect to play because he's had an amazing start right now. Dallas might actually not only be heading to the playoff, but they could be successful. They look really good right now, and I think it's time for Dak Prescott to look somewhere else, even though he is the franchise quarterback. So it'll be interesting to see what Jerry World has to do there, because they got a quarterback battle down there. Alright, still Dolphins news. He's back at practice already. Yep, he's recovering pretty well is what I'm hearing. But because of what happened in the media, he's still ruled out. Even if he's, the medical staff clears him to play, he's not going to play. He's still ruled out. He is not going to play at all. He's not going to play probably for another couple more weeks. After that injury, it's going to take some time because there's no way you can recover from that. Alright, we got some NFL games to talk about. We got a really big game this tomorrow night at 7:20 on NBC. We got the Dallas Cowboys. They're 4-1. Cooper Rush be there. Going to get Jalen Hurts, the Philadelphia Eagles. They're 5-0. Yeah, huge game. It's an important game to watch. Also, we got the Panthers. How are they going to do without Baker Mayfield and Rudolph now? And they're going to get the team that won the Super Bowl last year, who only got one win, or I think they're 2-3. So that's gonna be an interesting game to watch. See who's gonna come up on top on that. Also, Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs. They're both in a playoff race right now, fighting to get back in the Super Bowl. Alright, it's going to be an important one to watch, those games. I can't wait to see how these games turn out. But if I go quickly, I got the Rams and Kansas City at home. Alright, what's going around the network? We got the Slayer Report podcast every Monday at 6 o'clock. Also, check out my one for Thursday about Oklahoma. Also, Down and Distance every Monday, 6 o'clock. Talking about college football and the NFL. Also, our new basketball show, Hardwood Hoops, every Friday at 6 o'clock is the time that show comes on. And also, the first Monday of every month, Hot Seat, 6:30. Alright, who's going to be the next hiring and who's going to be fired next? This show, we're going to our flagship show, biggest show, every Saturday at 10 a.m. And if you haven't already, check out our website for the latest news, scores, stats, etc. That's all what's going around our network here at Busy Sports. Alright, it's time for the joke of the week. Who do I got this week? Oh, I got Ole Miss. Or should I say the joke this week is Auburn. Where has Auburn been this year? Wow, alright, I have 6-0 now. This is great. I feel really good right now. But the season's not over yet. This is going to be a tough one. Ole Miss looks really good, but you never know about Auburn. Alright, they're a sleeper team. You never know if they're going to come out there and bite you in the butt. Alright? But I totally, Ole Miss is definitely going to win that game. Alright, it's time for the best part of American Game Day. It's time for the option! First up, Minnesota versus Illinois. Who's going to be ranked next week? This game will give us the answer. I've got Minnesota pull up the upset here and continues to stay ranked in my rankings. Next up, we're heading to the ACC, 2:30 on the ACC network. NC State, Syracuse, the ranked team on a network you wouldn't, I guess the ACC network. But again, who am I going to pick in this game? This is a tough one for me to pick. But I'm going with NC State on the road. I think they find a way to win, and Syracuse is going to compete. So it'll be interesting to see how this game turns out. But NC State will find a way to win this game late. Back to the SEC we go. Mississippi State and Kentucky, 6:30 on the SEC network. Once again, it's a ranked versus ranked on their conference network. This is going to be a really tough one for me considering, well, Kentucky is at home. They have been struggling lately. Mississippi State is a team that, Mike Leach is doing a really good job down there. It took some time, but he's got them up there and competing. I'm going to change my pick on this one. I got Mississippi State on the road here. I think Mississippi State's going to pull off, and they're going to show up and ready to play. Washington State, Oregon State, 8 o'clock, Pac-12 Network. I won't be able to see this game. Too bad. It's going to be a fun game to watch, but I'm going to go with Washington State on the road in this game. All right, let's jump into our big games this week. 11 o'clock, Fox, big news Saturday. We got Penn State, Michigan. They're home, so it'll be a close back and forth game. Penn State's going to show up. They're going to be awesome. It's going to be back and forth game and a cannot miss game. Guess what? You think I'm going to go with the home team, the team that went to the playoff last year? No, I'm going with Penn State on the road to find a way and win this game in the fourth quarter. Yep, I'm saying they win on a touchdown. Another big game. Big 12 week go through 2:30 on ABC. This is going to be a really good matchup game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. No defense at all, which some people would probably expect that these are two but most defensive teams in the Big 12. I don't think so. We're going to see a lot of high-powered offense, and TCU is home. Oklahoma State has had some struggles, some weakness. I think TCU's running game, because Oklahoma State really hasn't been the best at run defense. So I got TCU winning this game by 10 points. Alright, we got Pac-12 After Dark on Fox. USC, Utah, true road test for USC. Their defense has been struggling lately. Well, I mean, and their offense has been having a hard time going, but they have been finding a way to get things done in the fourth quarter. Utah coming off the loss to UCLA. Can they bounce back? They're at home. It's going to be a huge back-and-forth battle. But just like USC's been doing all season long, they're going to find a way to win this game in the fourth quarter. I got them by 14 points in this game. Alright, the game of the week, SEC battle. Alabama, Tennessee, 2:30, CBS. This is going to be a fun game to watch. Alright, you ready for my pick? Alright, I am not going to surprise you. I got, of course, Alabama on the road to win this game. They've been struggling on the road lately. I think Nick Saban will finally get a decent win this year. Thanks for watching American Gameday. I'll see you next Saturday at 10 a.m. Enjoy your college football Saturday.